Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In today's class, we shall discuss about the uniform continuity for various courses and various competition examination, higher competition examination. So, topics is uniform continuity. In this section, we shall discuss the definition and concept of uniform continuity, and then discuss about various technique for testing whether a function is uniformly continuous or not on a given interval or given set. So we shall first discuss about the definition of the uniform continuity. Actually, if I is a given interval, this interval may be open or closed or semi-open, and x1 and x2 are any two arbitrary points of this interval. Now, for corresponding to epsilon greater than 0, if there exists a positive delta such that modulus of fx1 minus fx2 less than epsilon, whenever mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta for all x1 comma x2 belongs to I. The distance between the points x1 and x2, here observe that x1 and x2 are arbitrary points of the interval I, and if the distance between them is less than, this is the distance between the points x1 and x2. Here in real line, this point x1, suppose this point x2, and this is the distance of x1 x2. This distance is denoted by mod of x1 minus x2. If this distance less than delta, then modulus of this less than epsilon. This is the condition, this is the definition of the function fx to be uniformly continuous on the on the interval I. So we shall first note the definition of uniform continuity. Definition of uniform continuity: a function, if you can note this or write this, a function fx is said to be uniformly continuous on an interval I, if corresponding to epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta greater than 0 such that mod of fx1 minus fx2 less than epsilon, whenever mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta for all x1 comma x2 belongs to I. For every 2 points x1 and x2 of I, if their distance be less than delta, then this condition is satisfied. Modulus of fx1 minus fx2 less than epsilon. If the function be such that the distance between the point x1 and x2 less than delta, but this condition not satisfied, that is modulus of fx1 minus fx2 not less than delta, that is modulus of fx1 minus fx2 greater than equal to delta, then we say that the function fx is not uniformly continuous on I. First observe that here the difference between the continuity and uniform continuity. the uniform continuity is a global property. This is global property. Uniform continuity is global property, whereas the continuity is local property. That is, continuity can be defined at a point, but uniform continuity cannot be defined at a point. Uniform continuity is related to an interval or a set. Here, for comfortness, we shall take as interval. This also can be a set. Here I am taking as interval. This may be interval or set. So the uniform continuity is global property, whereas the continuity is local property. So note it that uniform continuity is a global property, whereas the continuity is a local property. That is, uniform continuity cannot be defined at a point. Uniform continuity is defined on an interval or a set. That is, uniform continuity cannot be defined at a point. It is defined on an interval or generally set, or on a set. We shall emphasize the uniform continuity on an interval. Note that interval also a set. In point set theory we have discussed that a open interval is a open set, closed interval is a closed set. So this is also a set. I is also a set. But continuity is defined at a point. Continuity also can be defined on an interval. Here observe the difference. Continuity can be defined on an interval. If fx is continuous at every point of the interval I, then we say that fx is continuous at I. So continuity can be defined at a point as well as on a set, but uniform continuity is defined only on a set. It cannot be defined at a point. Applying the definition of the uniform continuity, we first discuss how to check a function whether it is uniformly continuous or not on a given interval. Next, write down the problem so that fx equal to x square is uniformly continuous on -1, 1. interval minus 1 1, I here I equal to minus 1 1. The technique is same as the technique when we have discussed in continuity. We have checked a function whether it is continuous or not by epsilon delta definition. This is also the epsilon delta definition of uniform continuity. So the technique is we have modulus of fx1, let x1 comma x2 belongs to I be arbitrary, any point, any 2 points be arbitrary. Now we have modulus of fx1 minus fx2 equal to modulus of x1 square minus x2 square equal to modulus of x1 minus x2 into x1 plus x2, that is by modulus property of modulus mod of x1 minus x2 into mod of x1 plus x2. Now observe that x1 here I equal to minus 1 1. Observe that x1 belongs to minus 1 1. Here I equal to minus 1 1 closed interval. So minus 1 less than equal to x1 less than equal to 1. Also since x2 belongs to minus 1 1, therefore minus 1 less than equal to x2 less than equal to 1. And if we add these column wise, then get minus 2 less than equal to x. If we subtract, if we add these two column wise, then this adding minus 2, this x1 plus x2 less than equal to 2, that is in modulus notation. This implies mod of x1 plus x2 less than equal to 2. So this factor, this quantity, this expression is less than equal to 2, less than equal to 2 mod of x1 minus x2. Now this will be less than epsilon, this will be less than epsilon if this expression is less than epsilon. So this occurs when mod of 2 into mod of x1 minus x2 less than epsilon, that is if mod of x1 minus x2 less than epsilon by 2, that is if mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta, where delta equal to epsilon by 2. So we get that modulus of fx1 minus fx2 is less than epsilon, will be less than epsilon when mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta. Thus we get modulus of fx1 minus fx2 less than epsilon whenever mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta. And observe that x1 x2 are arbitrary points of the interval I. For all x1 comma x2 belongs to I. Therefore by definition fx is uniformly continuous on I. In definition, observe the language. We stated that for corresponding to epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta greater than 0. This language implies that delta always depends on the choice of epsilon, that is delta is a function of epsilon, and this occurs here. Observe delta equal to epsilon by 2, that is delta is a function of epsilon, that is delta depends on the choice of epsilon. So this is the technique to examine a function whether uniformly continuous or not by using epsilon delta definition. So this function mod fx equal to x square is uniformly continuous on this closed interval -1 1, but later we shall prove that this function is not uniformly continuous on the set of real number R on capital R. So note it. You can write down the note. Fx equal to x square is not uniformly continuous on R, on the set of real number R. We shall prove it later. Now next we remind an inequality which is for small theta, for small angle theta, mod of sine theta, this less than equal to mod of theta. Always this inequality is satisfied for theta is small. So note 2, for small theta, mod of sine theta less than equal to mod theta. Next problem, so that fx equal to sine x is uniformly continuous on R, on the set of real number R. We shall prove this using the epsilon delta definition of uniform continuity. So the technique is discussed in the previous problem. We apply this technique here also. The solution: let x1, x2 belongs to R be arbitrary. Any 2 points of the set of real number R, arbitrary. Therefore, we have mod of fx1 minus fx2 is equal to mod of sine x1 minus sine x2 is equal to 2 sine x1 minus x2 by 2 into cos x1 plus x2 by 2, that is equal to mod of 2, that is modulus of this into modulus of this into modulus of this. Mod of 2 is 2 itself, 2 mod of sine x1 minus x2 by 2 mod of cos x1 plus x2 by 2. Now we know that cos theta is always lie between -1 and 1, that is modulus of cos x1 plus x2 by 2 is less than equal to 1. So from this, less than equal to 2 sine x1 plus x2 by 2 into 1. Sorry, this is -1. Now in practical use, here observe that delta, the real number delta, in practical use delta is very small. So modulus of x1 minus x2 less than delta implies this is also very small, and if this be small, then modulus of x1 minus x2 by 2 is also small. Now modulus of this less than equal to, we can write here 2 into mod of x1 minus x2 by 2, since for small theta mod of sin theta, for small theta mod of sin theta less than equal to theta, applying this identity we get this, that is cancelling 2, this equal to mod of x1 minus x2. Now the next step is we assume that this less than epsilon, we assume that this less than epsilon, and this will less than epsilon when this less than epsilon, when this less than epsilon, if mod of x1 minus x2 less than epsilon, that is if mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta, where delta equal to epsilon. Always observe that delta is a function of epsilon, here delta equal to epsilon is a function of epsilon. Thus we get this quantity is less than epsilon whenever this less than delta. Therefore by the definition of uniform continuity, the function fx equal to sin x is uniformly continuous on the set of real number R. Thus mod of fx1 minus fx2 less than epsilon whenever mod of x1 minus x2 less than delta for all x1 comma x2 belongs to R. Since x1 and x2 are arbitrary points of R, this occurs for arbitrary points x1 x2 belongs to R, that is for all x1 x2 belongs to R. So this is the definition of uniform continuity, and we applied definition of uniform continuity to check whether a function is uniformly continuous or not on an interval. And this technique, that is applying the definition, is become laborious or complex for some functions. So next we discuss the techniques, the short techniques, various techniques, how to check the function is uniformly continuous or not on an interval or set. So some results, theorems and techniques. In sequence, we have discussed that a sequence is said to be Cauchy sequence, that is a sequence xn. If we take this sequence xn, a theorem states that this sequence is Cauchy sequence if and only if it is convergent. That is, if xn be Cauchy sequence, then it is convergent, and conversely, if the sequence is convergent, then the sequence is Cauchy sequence. This is the necessary and sufficient condition for Cauchy sequence or convergence of a sequence. A sequence is convergent if and only if it is Cauchy sequence. If xn be Cauchy sequence, then it is convergent, and if xn is convergent, then it is a Cauchy sequence. Let xn be a sequence of I, the given interval I, and xn is a sequence from this interval, that is all the members of xn are the points of or members of I. If xn be Cauchy sequence and fxn is also Cauchy sequence, then the function fx is said to be uniformly continuous on I. This is the technique which is known as sequential approach of uniform continuity. In sequential approach, this will be Cauchy sequence, f of xn will be Cauchy sequence for every sequence xn of I. That is, for example, suppose that xn, yn, zn are all Cauchy sequence from I. These are all belongs to I. If these are Cauchy sequence, then the sequence of their functional values fxn, fyn, fzn, these are also Cauchy sequence. This is the sequential approach. So we write down it. One, a function fx, a function fx is uniformly continuous on an interval I, if and only if fxn is a Cauchy sequence for every sequence xn of I, every Cauchy sequence, for every Cauchy sequence xn of I. That is, if xn be a Cauchy sequence of I, then the sequence of functional value of the sequence xn, that is fxn, is also Cauchy sequence. So from this theorem, it is clear that if xn is a Cauchy sequence from I, yn is also Cauchy sequence from I, and fxn is a Cauchy sequence, but fyn is not Cauchy sequence. Observe the language of the condition. If xn and yn are both Cauchy sequence from I, and fxn is a Cauchy sequence but fyn is not a Cauchy sequence, then we can confirmly conclude that the function fx is not uniformly continuous on I. Fx will be uniformly continuous for, observe the language, for every sequence here, for every sequence Cauchy sequence xn, fxn is also a Cauchy sequence for every Cauchy sequence. That is, if xn is a Cauchy sequence, yn is a Cauchy sequence from I, then their sequence of their function value is also a Cauchy sequence. If xn is a Cauchy sequence and fxn is also Cauchy sequence, yn is a Cauchy sequence, but f of yn, the sequence f of yn is divergent. Divergence means it is not convergent, that is, it is not a Cauchy sequence. Yn is a Cauchy sequence, but its functional value sequence is not Cauchy sequence. Then we can confirmly conclude that the function fx is not uniformly continuous on I. And this technique will be applied when we are to show that the function fx is not uniformly continuous. If the problem is related in competition exam or any other examination, if the problem is related to show that the function is not uniformly continuous, we can apply this technique. For example, so that fx equal to 1 by x is not uniformly continuous on 0, 1 open interval. Here the problem is related to show that fx is not uniformly continuous, and we can apply this technique. Sequential approach can be applied. To show applying the sequential approach, we first find out a sequence which is Cauchy sequence, but its functional value sequence is not Cauchy sequence. Let xn be a sequence where xn equal to 1 by n. N is natural number, so here we take the sequence as 1 by n plus 1, because of if the sequence we take the sequence as 1 by n, then when n equal to 1, the member of the sequence is 1, but 1 does not belongs to the open interval. We shall choose the sequence from the interval I. Here the interval I is 0, 1. So if we take the sequence xn as this, then this sequence is not a sequence of I, because of the first member does not belongs to the set, this set or this interval. Here observe that all the members of this sequence are the members of the open interval 0, 1. No member of this lies outside this open interval. Clearly xn belongs to I equal to 0, 1. Here the open interval 0, 1 is taken as the interval I. And it is very clear that the sequence xn is convergent, since it convergent limit n tends to infinity xn equal to 0. So the sequence xn is convergent, and every convergent sequence is Cauchy sequence. Therefore the sequence xn is a Cauchy sequence. Since xn is a Cauchy sequence, since xn is a convergent sequence, it is a Cauchy sequence. Now observe that the sequence of the functional value of this sequence, that is f of xn equal to f of 1 by n plus 1. That is, here the problem was fx equal to 1 by x, so this is equal to n plus 1, and it is also very clear that this sequence cannot converge. This is a divergent sequence which diverges to the positive infinity, that is eta this equal to this, which is not convergent. So observe that xn is a Cauchy sequence from I, but its functional value sequence is not Cauchy sequence. This is not Cauchy sequence. Since fxn is not convergent, it cannot be Cauchy sequence. So fxn is not a Cauchy sequence, and formally we discussed that if xn is a Cauchy sequence, that fx is not Cauchy sequence, then we can conclude conformly conclude that fx cannot be uniformly continuous on the interval. Therefore, by sequential approach, therefore fx is not uniformly continuous on I. It cannot be uniformly continuous. Applying this concept or this technique, that is the concept of sequential approach, we can also show that the function fx equal to cos 1 by x is not uniformly continuous. Problem, so that fx equal to this is not uniformly continuous on R. This cannot be uniformly continuous. We leave this as homework for you. I am giving some hints to solve this problem. Here we choose xn, the sequence xn equal to 2 by n pi. Then all the members of the sequence belongs to the real number, that is xn is the sequence of the real number r, but its functional value sequence fxn, the sequence of the functional value of the sequence xn is equal to cos n pi by 2, and cos n pi by 2 is a oscillatory sequence. It cannot converge. It is not convergent and hence not Cauchy sequence. Observe that xn is a Cauchy sequence, but fxn is not a Cauchy sequence. Therefore, by sequential approach, we can confirmly conclude that the function fx is not uniformly continuous on the set of real number R. Now, if a function fx is uniformly continuous on I, it can be proved that the function must be continuous on thereon. That is, if fx is uniformly continuous on I, then fx is simply continuous on I. Next, numbering 2. If fx is uniformly continuous on I, then it is continuous on I. Then it is continuous on I. But the converse of this result or this theorem may or may not be true. That is, if fx is continuous on I, then fx may or may not be continuous, uniformly continuous on I. Here note it that the converse of the above result may not be true. For example, consider the function. Example, consider fx equal to 1 by x on fx equal to 1 by x on 0, 1 open interval. Here 1 by x is everywhere continuous except at origin. This is everywhere continuous function except at origin, and observe that origin is excluded from this interval. 0 does not belongs to this. Then it is clear that fx is continuous on 0, 1, but in the previous problem we show that the function fx equal to 1 by x is not uniformly continuous on R, is not uniformly continuous on the open interval 0 1. Here fx is continuous on 0 1 but not uniformly continuous on open interval 0 1. So this is an important result. If a function is uniformly continuous on an interval, then it must be continuous on that interval. But the converse is not true. That is, a function which is continuous on interval I may or may not be uniformly continuous. We know that the function fx equal to sin x is everywhere continuous function. Fx is continuous on R, and it is proved that the function fx equal to sin x is also uniformly continuous on R. Here the uniformly continuity implies uniform continuity, but for this problem continuity does not imply uniformly continuity. So the language is may or may not be uniformly continuous. But if the interval I be closed, then continuity on I implies uniformly continuity. Next, number 3, if fx be continuous on closed interval if I be closed interval, then it is uniformly continuous. On I. If the interval be closed, then continuity both implies uniformity. In the previous result, we discussed that if fx is uniformly continuous on I, then it is continuous on I. So if I be a closed interval, then if fx is uniformly continuous on I, then it must be continuous on I. So combining the result 2 and result 3, we can say that uniform continuity on closed interval, both implies continuity on that interval. Closed interval I, continuity on I. So this is also an important result. If I be closed and if fx be uniformly continuous on I, then fx be continuous on I, and conversely, if I be closed interval and fx be continuous on I, then fx must be uniformly continuous on the closed interval I. But again saying that if I be not closed, then this cannot happen, or this may not be true. So if the function fx be such that fx equal to x square on minus 1 1, in today's first problem, we have proved that this function is uniformly continuous on the interval -1, 1, and we have proved this by applying the definition, but it can be easily conclude that using the result 3. You have observed that the interval is closed interval, and x square is a polynomial, and we know that every polynomial is everywhere continuous function. So x square is continuous on I, and since the interval is closed, we know that for closed interval uniform continuity both implies continuity, and hence the function fx is uniformly continuous on I. For example, or next problem, so that fx equal to x is uniformly continuous on I, uniformly continuous on x square, fx equal to x square is uniformly continuous on R. So the solution is as follows: uniformly continuous on, it is not uniformly continuous on R. We have to show that in uniformly continuous on -1, 1. Since fx is continuous on -1, 1 and the interval is closed, hence fx is uniformly continuous on -1, 1. So for various competition examination we shall apply this technique. Here it has been proved by applying the definition, and the definition was very complex, but in this section if we apply this result 3, then it can be easily shown that the function fx is uniformly continuous on I equal to -1, 1 closed interval. Next, consider a function fx and the interval open interval ab, that is here I equal to open interval ab. If fx satisfies these conditions, condition number 1, fx is continuous on the closed on the open interval ab, and condition 2, limit x tends to a plus fx exists. Number 3, limit x tends to b minus fx exists. If fx satisfies these 3 conditions, then the function fx will be uniformly continuous on I, and conversely if fx is uniformly continuous on I, then fx satisfies these 3 conditions. So this is the necessary and sufficient condition for uniform continuous on an open interval. Next, number 4, fx is uniformly continuous on I equal to open interval ab if and only if Number one, fx is continuous on I. Number two condition, limit x tends to a plus fx exist. And number three, condition number three, limit x tends to b minus fx exist. This is the necessary and sufficient condition for uniform continuity of a function on an open interval. So the function fx, if we consider the function fx equal to 1 by x and consider the open interval 0 1, then observe that fx is continuous on I. Condition 1 is satisfied. Condition 2 is also 3 is also satisfied. Limit x tends to here b equal to 1, here x tends to 1 minus fx equal to limit x tends to 1 of 1 by x equal to 1. This condition is also satisfied, but condition 2 is violated since limit x tends to 0 plus fx, here a is equal to 0 equal to limit x tends to 0 of 1 by x. This limit does not exist, that is tends to infinity. So this condition is violated. Therefore, by the necessary and sufficient condition, the function fx is not uniformly continuous on this. For example, taking it as a problem, so that fx equal to 1 by x is not uniformly continuous on 0 1 open interval. It has been proved in the previous section that this is not uniformly continuous on 0 1 open interval using the concept of sequential approach, but this approach is more easier because here number one, fx is continuous. This is we have said formally that this function is everywhere continuous except at the origin. Here origin is not included, therefore fx is continuous on this interval. Condition is satisfied, continuous on 0 1 open interval. Number two, limit x tends to 1 minus fx equal to 1, but limit x tends to 0 plus fx tends to infinity. So the condition 2 is violated and hence fx is not uniformly continuous. So we are checking the behavior of a function whether it is uniformly continuous or not. Here this technique is more easier than the sequential approach. In sequential approach there is a complexity of finding a sequence xn which is Cauchy sequence, but the sequence of the functional value of xn is not Cauchy sequence. This finding is not very easy in practical purpose. So this technique is more stronger than the sequential approach. Now if a function fx be such that fx number one is continuous on a infinity, a is a real number, a infinity, and number two, limit x tends to infinity, number two, limit x tends to infinity, fx exists. If the function fx be such that, then we say that the function fx, or this is the condition, necessary and sufficient condition for fx to be uniformly continuous on the interval, sorry, this will be open, uniformly continuous on the open interval a infinity. Next, number 5, if let a function f(x) is uniformly continuous on I equal to a infinity is open if number 1 f(x), if and only if number 1 f(x) is continuous on a infinity, number 2 limit x tends to infinity f(x) exist. So the function f(x), now observe that the function f(x) equal to 1 by x becomes uniformly continuous on the interval 1 infinity. Applying this technique, we can conclude that the function f(x) equal to 1 by x is uniformly continuous on the interval this, because of here condition number 1 is satisfied, since this is continuous. Here f(x) has a point of infinite discontinuity at the point x equal to 0, which is out of this interval. So f(x) is continuous on this interval. Number 1 condition is satisfied, and limit x tends to infinity f(x) equal to 0. So this limit also exists, and condition 2 is also satisfied. Therefore f(x) is uniformly continuous on this interval. Problem, so that f(x) equal to 1 by x is uniformly continuous on 1 infinity. Solution, we apply this technique. Here f(x) is continuous on 1 infinity and also limit x tends to infinity f(x) equal to 0 exist. Therefore applying this technique, we can confirmly conclude that this function is uniformly continuous on I. Therefore f(x) is uniformly continuous on 1 infinity open interval. Similar result is obtained for the function f(x), and the interval be taken as this. The interval I is, if we take the interval I as minus infinity b, if a function f(x) is uniformly continuous on this, it can be closed, b can be a closed point if number 1 condition f(x) is continuous on minus infinity b, and condition number 2 limit x tends to minus infinity fx exist. This problem this technique can be applied for the function where the interval is taken as this form minus infinity b. For example, consider the function so that fx equal to 1 by x square is 1 by x square. Fx equal to 1 by x square is uniformly continuous on minus infinity minus 1. Minus infinity here is open, minus infinity minus 1. So this to check the uniform continuity of this function, we apply this technique. Here fx, observe that this function is everywhere continuous except at x equal to 0, and x equal to 0 is it can be closed. The problem can be written as so that the function fx equal to this is uniformly continuous on this. So we can apply this form. Here fx is continuous on this interval. Fx is continuous on minus infinity minus 1, and limit x tends to minus infinity fx. X tends to minus infinity fx equal to limit x tends to minus infinity 1 by x square. It is clearly 0. So the condition 1 and condition 2 both are satisfied. Therefore, applying this technique, we can say that this function fx is uniformly continuous on this interval. Therefore, fx is uniformly continuous on minus infinity minus 1 open interval. No, sorry, semi open. Now, if the interval be extend to the real line, that is a set of real number r, the function fx be such that if the function fx be such that fx is continuous on r, that is fx is everywhere continuous, and limit x tends to infinity fx and limit x tends to minus infinity fx both exist. If fx is uniformly, condition 1, if fx is continuous on r, and condition 2, fx is for the function fx, these two limits exist. This and this both exist. These two limits exist. Then fx is uniformly continuous on r. Next technique number 6. A function fx is uniformly continuous on r if condition number 1, fx condition number 1, fx is continuous on r, and condition number 2, limit x tends to infinity fx and limit x tends to minus infinity fx both exist. If we consider the function this, suppose fx equal to fx equal to, if we choose fx equal to sin x, then it is uniformly continuous on R. Since it is continuous on R and this limit is not infinite, if x tends to infinity, then this cannot be infinite. The maximum value of sin x will be 1. So fx is uniformly continuous here, sin x is uniformly continuous on R. But it can be noted carefully that if the function fx is continuous, if the condition 1 is satisfied but condition 2 is not satisfied, then we cannot conclude that fx is not uniformly continuous. It can be noted carefully that if fx be continuous on R but limit x tends to infinity fx or limit x tends to infinity minus infinity and limit x tends to minus infinity, or both does not exist, then fx may or may not be uniformly continuous. If we choose fx as this, for example, consider fx equal to, for example fx equal to, for example, consider fx equal to x, fx equal to x square, or fx equal to x. On R. Here fx, observe that fx is continuous on R. It is, if x equal to x is everywhere continuous function, condition 1 is satisfied, but fx limit x tends to infinity fx and limit x tends to minus infinity fx, both does not exist, but also this function is uniformly continuous. It can be so that by using epsilon delta definition of uniform continuity, that the function fx is uniformly continuous on R. Fx on R, here limit x tends to infinity fx and limit x tends to minus infinity fx, both do not exist. Both do not exist. But also, that is, this condition is violated. For this function, this condition is satisfied, but this condition is violated, but fx equal to x is uniformly continuous on R, but fx is uniformly continuous on R. So it can be noted carefully that if this condition is violated, that is, a function fx is continuous on R but this is not satisfied, then we cannot say that fx is not uniformly continuous. Fx may or may not be uniformly continuous. If we choose the function fx equal to x square on R, here fx function, it can be proved that the function fx is not uniformly continuous on R. Here observe that the fx equal to x square, this is polynomial. Polynomial is everywhere continuous function, therefore fx is continuous on R. This condition is satisfied, but this condition is violated. Limit x tends to infinity fx becomes infinity. This does not exist. This does not exist. So if this limit does not exist, then the result will be as follows. Number one, fx may be uniformly continuous. Number 2, fx may not be uniformly continuous. These two examples are given here. For this function, this condition is satisfied, but fx is uniform. This condition is not satisfied, but fx is uniformly continuous. Whereas for this function fx equal to x square, the function is not uniformly continuous. This condition is violated and not uniformly continuous. Now, if a function fx be such that its curve or its graph is parallel to the axis of y, if the curve, the function fx, which is tested for uniform continuity, we plot this function in the graph, and in the interval, in the given interval I, if in the given interval I, the graph of the function fx is parallel to the axis of y, then fx cannot be uniformly continuous. Next, number 7, technique number 7. If the graph of fx on I is an interval on I be parallel to y axis, then fx is not uniformly continuous. So this is the graphical technique. In graphical technique, if we are to given that the curve of the graph of the function, and if the graph of the function is parallel to the axis of y on the given interval I, then the function is not uniformly continuous. This is the graphical test. For example, consider the function fx equal to 1 by x on 0, 1. Thus, observe the graph of the function. We know this is very well known curve, x axis, y axis, and this is 0, this is 0.1. And the open interval here I equal to open interval 0, 1. The graph of the function fx on this interval is this, and it is clear that the graph is parallel to the axis of y, and hence f cannot be uniformly continuous. Since the graph, this is the function y equal to fx, curve y equal to fx, since the curve y equal to fx is parallel to y axis on 0, 1 open interval, therefore fx is not uniformly continuous on 0, 1 open interval. This is the graphical test, very important for various competition exam. If the graph of the function be known and the graph is parallel to the axis of y, then it cannot be uniformly continuous. But if the function fx be such that its graph on the given interval be parallel to the axis of x. If the graph of the function be parallel to the axis of x on the given interval, then fx becomes uniformly continuous on the interval. Next, graphical test, technique number 8. Technique number 8. Technique number 8. if the graph of fx on the given interval be parallel to x axis, then fx is uniformly continuous on that interval, the given interval, on the interval I. For example, consider the function fx. For example, consider the function fx equal to 1 by x on 1 infinity. Here the graph, observe the graph of the function. Here we take the graph from 1 to infinity, graph of the function fx. This is the point 1 and this is 1. This is the curve y equal to fx here, 1 to infinity, and observe that in this interval here I equal to 1 infinity, in this interval the graph of the curve is parallel to the axis of x, and hence this function becomes uniformly continuous on this interval. Since the graph of y equal to fx, since the graph of fx is parallel to x axis on 1 infinity, therefore fx is uniformly continuous on 1 infinity. This is the second graphical test for a function to be uniformly continuous. Now, if a function be such that the graph of the function oscillates between two numbers infinitely many times. Next, graphical test number 9. If the graph of fx oscillates or fluctuates infinitely many times, between two real numbers and parallel to the y-axis, is not uniformly continuous, on that interval. For example, consider the function fx equal to sin 1 by x not equal to 0. This is also a standard function. The graph of the function is as follows. this is 1 and this is -1. That is y equal to this line. Equation of this line is y equal to 1 and equation of this line is y equal to -1. The axis of x, origin, and axis of y, and the graph of the function like this. Here observe that this function fx this function oscillates between 1 and 1 and tends to the here observe that the curve near x equal to 0, the curve becomes parallel to the axis of y. The parallel of axis near x equal to 0, this part is parallel to axis of y, this part is parallel to axis of y, and hence applying this graphical test we can say that the function is not uniformly continuous. From graph, the function fx equal to sin 1 by x is not uniformly continuous. Is not uniformly continuous. Also, graphical test can be applied for this function. The function fx equal to cos x by x, x not equal to 0. The graph of the function is like this. This is axis of x, axis of y. This is the curve is bounded between these 4 curves, and the curve is this is the curve of the function t. The function, next example, the function fx equal to this is not uniformly continuous on R. Uniformly continuous. Here the function is not oscillating, this is fluctuating. This is the fluctuation. The curve is, the height of the curve is become increasing. So here the part, observe the part, this part is parallel to the axis of y and this part is parallel to the axis of y near origin. So the function is not uniformly continuous. Now if fx, number 10, if fx and gx are uniformly continuous on I, then fx into fx plus minus gx, fx plus minus gx is uniformly continuous on I. If two functions are uniformly continuous, their sum and difference is also uniformly continuous. Number 10, number 11, if fx and gx are uniformly continuous on I, then fx into gx may not be uniformly continuous. For example, consider fx. If we take fx equal to, for example, if we take fx equal to x and gx equal to x on R, we have formally told that this function fx equal to x is uniformly continuous on R. It can be shown by using the epsilon delta definition of the uniform continuity. So fx is continuous, uniformly continuous, and also gx is uniformly continuous, but fx here fx and gx are both uniformly continuous on R, but fx into gx equal to x square is not uniformly continuous on R. Is not uniformly continuous on R. But if the function be such that fx and gx be such that fx and gx are both uniformly continuous and both are bounded on I, then this the product of their function becomes uniformly continuous. Number 12. If fx and gx are uniformly continuous on I and they are bounded there, then fx into gx is uniformly continuous on I. So this condition fx and gx are bounded, it must be imposed so that the function fx into gx becomes uniformly continuous. Similarly, if fx and gx are uniformly continuous on I, then fx by gx may or may not be uniformly continuous on I. May or may not be uniformly continuous on I. Here, if we take this function fx equal to, for example, fx, let fx equal to 1 and gx equal to x. Observe that it is very well known result that every constant function is uniformly continuous on R. So fx equal to 1 is uniformly continuous on R, and this is also uniformly continuous on R. Here fx and gx are both uniformly continuous on R, but fx by gx equal to 1 by x is not uniformly continuous on R. Observe the result. If two functions are uniformly continuous, then their ratio may or may not be uniformly continuous. Next, number 14. If fx and gx are uniformly continuous on I and fx is bounded fx is bounded on R and gx is unbounded on I, then fx by gx is uniformly continuous on I. So in the previous article we have discussed that if two functions are uniformly continuous, then their ratio may not be uniformly continuous, but if the extra condition this be imposed, number one condition, fx is bounded but gx is unbounded, then the ratio fx by gx becomes uniformly continuous on I. And number 15, every constant function is uniformly continuous on any interval or on I. Number 16, if fx be uniformly continuous on I, then lambda into fx is also uniformly continuous on I, where lambda is constant, any constant. So these are the techniques for testing whether a function fx is uniformly continuous or not. If we memorize these techniques, then in the problem for testing whether the function is uniformly continuous or not, it can be easily verified. So in the next lecture we shall only discuss about the problems relating to the uniform continuity. Okay, thank you. That's all for today.